Hey, what's up, guys? You're one here. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about the incident that happened on the Dr. Drew show between Zoey and Ben Shapiro. In that episode of Dr. Drew, it was speaking about Caitlyn Jenner receiving an award for being courageous. Now, they brought in this panelist of individuals, and one of them was Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro was speaking to the rest of the audience, and not just the audience, but the people there, that facts are facts. If you're born as a man, you're a man. If you're born as a woman, you're a woman. So even if you feel that as a man you feel that you're a woman, or as a woman you feel as you're a man, you can't just throw logic out the window. Now, this whole escalated between Zoey and Ben Shapiro when Ben Shapiro called Zoey sir, because he's a man. Zoey in turn grabbed Ben Shapiro behind his neck and leaned him over to where he was and threatened him and says, "You better stop that or I'll send you in the ambulance." And when that happened, I was shocked that Dr. Drew did not actually called it out and told Zoey, "Hey, you can't be threatening people on the show. It's wrong." But instead, everybody was upset with Ben Shapiro because he was telling them the truth. He was bringing them the facts. And everybody gets upset because he doesn't agree with how these individuals feel about, gender or transgender people, where it's like, hey, if you do not go with what the status quo says, if somebody feels that he or she is supposed to be, another gender, then that makes you a bigot, that makes you a criminal, that makes you a zealot. And, well, not so much of a zealot, but, a very bad person. And I agree with Ben Shapiro that he did the right thing in not getting into a fist fight. The way he responded was great, excellent. I mean, if you want to see the video, I'll put it in the links below. But he, said, hey, it's not appropriate, that we're having this conversation and you're over here threatening me. So that was awesome. But another thing that happened is that after the show, when Zoey was leaving, he threatened Ben Shapiro again that he was going to beat him down in the parking lot. I guarantee you, if Ben Shapiro would have done what Zoey did to him on national television and threatened him on the parking lot, his career would have been over. It would be over like that. He would be on a blacklist. He would have to move from Los Angeles and go to Idaho or Oklahoma or Indiana, somewhere over there in the Midwest. And this is another thing that I can't stand from what I'm seeing in our society, that, hey, throw facts and logic out the window. Forget what you were taught in kindergarten and says, hey, you're a boy and she's a girl. No, forget that. Let's throw that out the window and let's, bring confusion to the society that we live in. I mean, and then one of the other panelists says that she was very emotional because what Ben Shapiro said, calling Zoey a man, sir. She was saying, you should respect the noun. You should respect the noun. Okay, if the noun says that he's a he, then respect the noun and say, sir. There you go. You cannot tell somebody who's a man, ma'am. That's not respecting the noun. So she's all emotional and she's saying that, Ben Shapiro cannot be, thinking the way he's thinking, which is preposterous because he was basically telling the truth. That's all he was doing. And then another individual comes and says that, can you see that the transgender community is going through how the Jews were going through in the concentration camps and the Holocaust, that they're being genocide? I was thinking to myself that the transgender community is being genocide here in the United States. Nobody's actually arresting transgender individuals and putting them in gas chambers at all. They are not being hunted down by the government. They're not being hunted down by the church. They're not being hunted down by anybody at all. I mean, that's the truth. Now, I do approve how Ben Shapiro going to basically the police officers and saying, "Hey, this is what's happening. I have the tape," and they were shocked that he had the tape, and he's pressing charges. And it's time that we as a society come to the reality that the truth is the truth, and this political correctness has to stop. It's gone too far. We got to take the Confederate flag because it causes people to go shoot and kill and lynch black people. No, the Confederate flag is not causing people to go and kill and shoot black people or Hispanics or anything like that. It's not causing Caucasians to go out there and do mass murder. It's not. I mean, it's not. This whole thing with Cecil the Lion got killed in Zimbabwe, so the entire mainstream media is putting the entire focus on that instead of Planned Parenthood, because it does not fit their narrative that a human life that's in another human is alive. It's just tissue. That's all it is. No, it's a human being. Come on. And it's just stuff like that the society or the citizens of this country are getting frustrated with. They really are. They're tired of this mass delusion of crazy ideas. It really is. And it's heartbreaking to me because when I was growing up, we didn't have to deal with the lies that are just being spewed from mainstream media. I mean, yes, there were certain things that were happening in my generation when I was a little kid that, you had Columbine, you had all these different crazy stuff like drugs and just all that junk. I understand. I mean, when I grew up, it wasn't a perfect world, but we weren't taught from the government, and especially from the schools and the businesses, that if you do not agree with the transgender life or the homosexual life or with animals, activists, and all these things, then you're wrong and you should be arrested. You should be taken into court, and your property and your kids should be taken away from you. That we didn't deal with that when I was growing up, and now this is happening. Next thing you know, they're going to be taking away our Bibles. Next thing you know, they're going to be shutting down churches. I'm thinking to myself, like, what, guys? Come on, seriously. This whole political correctness has gone too far, and these are my thoughts. Now, if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with anything that I say, okay, I respect that. Leave your comments and be respectful about it. Thank you again. You guys have a great day. Jesus is King, and I'll see you then. All right? Later, guys. Bye.